Hello, good beasts of the forests, studs and fillies, stallions and bitches. Welcome to a brand new LP episode adventure. I am your host, Akeluus. This is Guilty Gear 2 Overture. This is going to be an LP experiment in the world of RTS for me. I think I have mentioned once or twice that I am not overly good at real-time strategy games. So what I am going to do, of course, the logical step after proclaiming something like that is to play the hardest RTS game I have ever encountered. Now, for those of you who are not familiar with the Guilty Gear universe, it mostly revolves around a man named Saul, who, in our future, is a scientist, in part of research taking place in Japan to develop biological weapons. Basically what happens in the Guilty Gear universe, I'm going to try to do it as much justice as I possibly can. But in a nutshell, basically a group of scientists wanted to develop biological weapons, research, and technologies, and they came up with a synthetic organism known as a gear. Now, there are two types of gear. There are like, I can't remember their exact terminology, but they're like drone gears or something like that. And then there are control gears. Now, they developed a whole bunch of these, but the only control gear they actually made was a unit called Justice. Now, the control gears are not active or operational. Did I say control gears? The drone gears are not operational or active unless there is a control gear that is awake and lively. They are synthetic organisms, but most of the time they take the image when they're passive. They take the appearance of almost humanoid things, and sometimes mythological creatures, some animals, and like things out of fairy tale or folklore, unicorns and fairies and elves and gnomes and things like that. But when they're actively partaking in battle, they actually take on more of like a robotic aspect. And what it boils down to in this universe is their control unit Justice found that the gears in and of themselves were being used as weapons, and she decided to at one point, for whatever reason, to just gather all of the drone gears together and liberate everybody and just go on a sweep to destroy mankind. So in an effort to put up a resistance, humanity formed the Order of Holy Knights, I guess it was. A crusade kind of took place, led by a man named Cliff Anderson. And with the Order of Holy Knights, set out to pretty much wipe out all of the gears from existence. Cliff did manage to defeat Justice. As it turns out, Cliff and Justice had some kind of a past happening. However, later on, a man named Testament, who as it turns out, was half gear, half human. Evidently, they were able to breed with humans, but Testament brought it upon himself to resurrect justice to bring about a new liberation of gear. And Testament's efforts were thwarted by Saul, whose real name is actually Frederick. Don't know what his last name is, but as it turns out, Frederick was able to not only, well, he was able to stop Testament, but not before Testament sacrificed himself, his flesh, to resurrect justice. And Saul was able to thwart Justice's efforts due to his power of pretty much being a prototype humanoid gear. Experiments were done on him initially for the Gear project. And this game, in this game, one of Saul's rivals, known as Kai Kisuke, that's how they, here, I can do this while we're going in here. There's audio. Oh, organ. There it is. Sound. What the heck? What's that? Oh. Etc. Let's go ahead and put it on English. Anyway, as I was saying, a man named Kai Kisuke, after the death of Cliff Anderson, he took over as leader of the Order of Holy Knights. The reason why Kai and Saul have a rivalry happening is because Saul was actually a member of the Holy Knights for a time. But relations with the Order and Saul broke when Saul decided to take a sacred weapon from the Order. I can't remember what the name of it is. It's the sword he carries around. It's called like the Fire Fang or something along those lines. But it was a sacred weapon in the Order of Holy Knights. Something they coveted. And ever since that point, Kai has been on a mission to sort of apprehend Saul. So there's where the rivalry comes from. Of course, there are a number of other like different characters in the story, but they're kind of secondary to the actual Guilty Gear story itself. In this universe, Guilty Gear 2, Kai is actually, he's king of this particular region. That's the only thing that that you need to know in order to get caught up with the Guilty Gear universe. I haven't done that story any justice, no pun intended. And it's easy enough to kind of like look up offline game hints. Let's see, the weighting of the map field. Insist. Actually, you are on the organ menu. Nah. I'm probably shooting myself in the ass for this, but I'm gonna go ahead and leave it off. I really do enjoy the real-time aspect of real-time strategy. I'm going to try to explain things as swiftly as I can while I'm doing things. This game it's fucking difficult. I have no other way to describe it. The computer develops fast, it pumps out lots of units at any given time, and depending on who you're fighting, sometimes, like Valentine, sometimes the enemy's units are actually like a hair stronger than yours. Allows in-game summon, advance, and service. No, I do not need the game doing shit for me. I can at least handle that. But the story mode is tutorial in and of itself. And as you can see, I've gone through pretty much all of these already. I'm going to start with the first chapter tutorial mission, which will basically tell you how to do everything. This game, it is primarily RTS, but since you play a commander unit in the story campaign, you play as Saul, you have your own special moves you can go around the map and do on your own at any given time to help out your forces. You only have one primary base where all of your units come from, and you have a finite number of units you can make. You have a finite number of any given unit that you can make at one time. So it's kind of watered down as far as RTS goes, because it blends with elements from a regular Guilty Gear game and like fighting game in general. Starting mission. Two men wandered the countryside. Bounty hunting was just an occupation for them, but it also shaped their beliefs. They traveled to destroy living weapons known as gears. However, any information on them started to decline. Even hard-to-find leads often ended up being false. The frustrations of the man wielding a great sword were piling day by day, and a familiar face appeared in his head. What's he up to now? Whatever. That's like Saul's catchphrase. He really does not give a shit about things. He's lived for a very long time, and shit just happens around him that he has just no patience for. Anyway, with a feeling of self-contempt, Saul Bad Guy shook his head. What am I getting sentimental for? He swung his sword diligently to free himself of his idle thoughts. The area was silent. The wind was soundlessly pushing the clouds. Moonlight shone through the occasional break in the skies, and all you could hear was the futile sound of a sword cutting the dry air. Yeah, if any of you know anything about the Guilty Gear universe, a lot of the different characters in this game and this franchise and a lot of the different aspects of the game are named after, like, you know, actual rock and roll artists and heavy metal people and groups and things like that. So there's this whole metal theme going on through the thing. And Saul's real name, Frederick, actually comes from Freddie Mercury of Queen. And there's just like all kinds of stuff like that throughout all of these games. I think it's a pretty neat little theme. I do have it on English, so we can pretty much like tell what everybody's saying during their taunts and everything.
Old man, are you still doing that?
I believe.
We should change locations tomorrow. Man, there isn't anything left around here.
That is the voice actor for Sasuke.
I guess.
And Naruto.
Come on. Where did all your energy go?
I don't know who Saul is.
Lately, all we've been fighting are rabbits, wild rabbits, or pet rabbits. That's a disgrace for bounty hunters. Huh? Don't you think?
Sleep or shut up. Choose one.
I can't sleep because of the noise. All right, all right. I'll tell you your quota. So do that and call it quits, okay?
Quota?
If you keep going, I'm never gonna be able to sleep. Okay, let's start with footwork.
You lecturing me, boy. Conditions. Learn Saul's operations. Defeat. You cannot lose this mission. You're just learning how to... If you die somehow by learning how to move back and forth and jump, you really do not need to be playing this game. Anyway. These will come in handy later on. I'm not going to bother reading all of these. Some of them are just common sense.
What a drag.
This just tells you that every once in a while you'll get hints.
There's a battle to be won.
A battle with movement itself. Hopefully that
Okay.
will satisfy your needs. My TV, this is
What a drag.
kind of fuzzy. Where the hell are you? So I'm going to move around now.
Okay.
And I'm also going to leap.
Okay.
Oh yeah, no double jump. When you press jump in the air again, you actually dash forward.
What's wrong, old man?
Shut up, Sin. I honestly hate Sin. As a playable character, he just sucks. His defense is awful, and he doesn't really have a useful pattern to his attacks most times. He's one of those characters that just kind of leaps into battle, and with his with his constitution, it's just not a wise thing for him to do. These bars at the bottom of my screen, the light blue bar is the energy I have to make units, and the orange bar is my life. And this bracket here is, this is my loadout of items. And skills. You'll get 4 of these eventually, or you'll get 4 skills anyway.
What are you doing, old man? That's not
Yeah,
right.
it is. Shut up. I'm teaching people stuff. You can put items in here, like bombs and health items and energy replenishing items, and then your skills will usually take up these first 4 brackets. Handy skills like upping your defense, creating like mini outpost units and turrets that you can set down pretty much anywhere, and like offensive skills and things like that. That'll come in time. You can also, when you're doing the RTS element of this game, pick up your smaller units and put them in your inventory slots, and then travel to the enemy base and just like drop them off, or just put units where you need them to go. You cannot allocate several brackets of space for like larger units and things like that. Moving on.
Okay, next is combat.
Who the hell do you think you are?
Who the hell do you
You're
think you
bloody
are?
apprentice. I'm usually the one being bullied, so it's time you experience this end for a change.
I don't recall having an apprentice.
I really haven't figured out why Saul travels around with Sin, if anything, simply out of obligation. Combos.
What a drag.
XXXY, and Y will usually utilize a portion of your special energy bar because it's the heavy attack.
What a drag.
You don't usually use, I don't think you, it's been a little while since I've played, but I don't think you do actual like fighter game motions on the pad or the analog. God, that would just be annoying shit. But there are patterns you can do, like holding forward or back and pressing strong attack in order to do more powerful special moves. Yeah, that's how that works. The trigger buttons are targeting, your target switches, and left and right and special is one particular move, and back and forward are their own individual moves. Let's just see what we have.
Okay.
Special attack. Gun Flame! Y on itself, it operates just like Smash Brothers.
Okay.
That's a projectile move, goes a fair distance. Free combo. Huh, 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 huh.
Okay.
Strong attack.
Okay.
Shut up.
Shut up.
There are some special moves you can only do after you've locked onto a target by holding the R trigger.
What's wrong, old man?
Shut it. If I could find you, kid, I would so fucking incinerate your ass. Hey. That might come in handy. And then again, it might not. Yeah. I've actually never heard of a Chimaki before. Chikami, I forget what it was already. So all of that is done. Aside from rendering times,
Now let's start aerial combat.
You are so annoying. Let me do what
do what I want.
Do you want to kill me with insomnia? Do it. Go.
Learn Saul's operations, part 3.
There's a battle to be won. Mission
A
start.
battle with ignorance. Aerial attack in midair.
Okay.
Falling attack.
Okay.
Aerial dash is A and A
Okay.
again, just like I showed you.
Okay.
And the breakdown is Y while jumping.
Okay.
Easy enough. That'll get rid. That has a good AoE effect that will take care of a lot of enemy units, provided they're weak ones. Otherwise, it'll just piss a bunch of
What's
big
wrong,
guys
old man?
off. But it is handy. Saul is primarily offense
Next is
and
targeting.
defense.
You're okay with dummy targets, right? Ha!
He really only buffs
Hey, aren't those royal
himself.
fences?
I hate those guys. Anyone with the kingdom. They're so stuck up. They don't even know anything about the people at all.
Little animosity there.
Beat them up for me.
That will be explained in time. Normal and lock-on attacks, slight difference between attacks. Normal and lock-on, just like I explained before. Characteristics of lock-on as compared to
What a drag.
lock-on attacks is different. And canceling. Followed up by steps, jumps, aerial dashes, or special moves to reduce time wasted after an attack. That's the clumsy way to do a move cancel. The proper way to do a combo cancel into other special moves. There we go. That's a lock on.
Okay.
Change lock on target 3 times with the R stick while locking on. We've done that. Step 3 times. There we go. There we go. And there we go.
Okay.
Oh, a super backstep is like it's kind of like a smash attack, down and A simultaneous.
What's wrong, old
Got it.
man? Okay.
If you're just passively holding the D or the analog and pressing jump, then you'll do a short hop. Some characters, like the Kitsune guy, I really wish I could remember his name, can actually do a hop step in twice in rapid succession. Short dash. Press L, stick while holding.
Okay.
There we go. Depressing the L analog in general it'll make you do a quick move. If you're not locked onto anything, pushing in the left analog will actually make you run. And I actually have a special move, Crimson Jacket down there. L trigger doesn't do anything, I guess. Lock on and left swing. Lock on right swing. Uppercut and sliding. It's basically lock on in all of the analog directions with the X button, so we'll do left first.
Okay.
That'll take care of a group of guys. Right swing, I believe, is a step swing.
Okay.
Nope. That's just a strong sideways hit. Now we'll uppercut you. This will set you up for some like aerial combos later on. Sliding attack.
Okay.
Modern cancel after a successful attack will eat up energy, but it helps if you really want to attack a bunch of guys in rapid succession.
Okay.
So much easier than it is in the regular Guilty Gear games. In regular Guilty Gear games, they have things called Roman cancels and modern cancels. Modern cancel is it's a derpy way to perform a cancel while you're doing a combo or a special move. It will eat 50% of your energy.
What a drag.
When most of your moves take most of your super moves take 50 energy to do, so it's kind of klutzy. If you press all 3 attack buttons while you're attacking, you will perform a modern cancel, which is denoted by a blue flash that goes out from you. If you do a Roman cancel, it only takes 25% of your energy, and it's only done at specific times during specific people's specific moves. You really have to know the character that you're using. Lock on combo 1. You can see the combo's a little different while I'm locked on. Combo 2. X and while holding RT. I think that's
Okay.
okay. You really have to mash that thing. Volcanic Viper. Left and right.
Okay.
Volcanic Viper, and this is a move you can only do while you're locked on.
Okay.
They renamed this attack Bandit Revolver in this game. It it's usually called Funky Revolver, but one way or another,
Okay.
that's pretty much what he does in every game. And Saul's normally not this decked up in a Guilty Gear game. Right now he looks more like his Order Saul incarnation than his regular getup. He's usually in just like this sort of black wife beater and jeans, and his sword isn't quite as impressive. But he always wears that particular headband because it's not just a fashion statement, it's a limiter. Let's try B.
Okay.
Crimson Jacket ups Saul's defense, and as you can see, it's darkened in my inventory slot, which means it is cooling down. And it'll tick away in clockwise fashion like it's doing now until it's highlighted all the way, and that's when I can use it again. All of your skills have various cooldown rates.
Okay. Next
Sleep.
up is...
That's enough. Go ahead and die from insomnia. Better yet, I'll put you to sleep.
Jeez.
Now you've done it, old man. I'll send you to the afterlife.
And as the final test of our training. Ah, blocking. Blocking, blessedly enough, is done passively. You just have to not be swinging your sword like a madman when the opponent or when any of your enemies attacks you. And that's how you pretty much get around that.
Wow,
There
how
is
exciting
a
this?
there is a particular move you can do while you're being hit. If you mash all of your buttons at one time, or at least several of them at one time, you'll just like in the regular Guilty Gear games, you'll do a burst attack, which will it'll do a shockwave. Actually, I think it's the cancel button. Now I remember correctly. Yeah, it's the cancel button while you're being attacked. The moment somebody hits you, you will leap up into the air and you'll do like a no-boom attack, which will send enemies flying out from you. Anyway, let's start that. Yeah, guarding is passive. If you succeed in guarding, cancel recovery time and jump or sidestep. Once you guard an opponent's attack, it's your chance to... Oh, A is the next.
Wow, how exciting is this?
Counterattack. If you continue to guard, continuously guard the enemy's attacks, eventually your guard will temporarily be broken. This is called a guard clash. See, it's just like Smash Brothers, really. You have a only instead of Smash Brothers, you won't eventually knock yourself the fuck out if you keep holding the guard button for a time. You just have a guard meter,
Wow, how exciting is this?
or it's denoted by a color. That when you know you get way in the red, usually the next hit will knock you the hell out and you'll be stunned for a while. But there are a number of different things you can do during your guard. You can burst out. You can slip off of a hit and move to the side, kind of like some of the characters I have in Bloody
how
Roar.
exciting is
Plug, plug,
this?
plug. Or you can, continue to turtle like a madman. Bear in mind, folks, that while all of this is taking place, you're also playing an RTS game that you are the commander of. Hence where some of the difficulty of the game comes from. When you are developing and buying and unlocking items, monsters, and skills for yourself, you've got to take this into account, and you also have to take into account where your enemies are on the battlefield, how well they are doing, and where you need to be in relation to them, because the commander is also doing them. The opposing commander is also doing their own thing, and the computer usually plays super aggressively in this game. Let's get out of that.
There's a battle to be won. Mission start.
The enemy commander will usually be denoted by a blue spire reaching, or not a blue, but a colored spire reaching high into the air. Get up there.
Is it over? Are you kidding me?
There you go. Dashing kick to the face.
Man, you don't hold back, do you? I guess I can call it a
No,
day.
you won't have any problem getting to sleep.
Damn it.
Bloop.
You made me waste my time.
I don't think Saul sleeps. Probably one of the reasons why he's so pissy. Learn how to use the personal slot. Treasure chests. Open treasure chests and attack them and find mana. Items that are useful in battle. Take treasure chests will automatically store in your personal slot, just like I said.
There's a battle to be won. Mission
Basically
start.
saved us a whole bunch of time by explaining things beforehand and not having to read Scarecrow. This is the cool thing about scarecrows, is no matter where you are on the map, your enemies will always be dumb enough to attack the scarecrow. Quite convincing, huh, folks? Looks just like Saul. Get up. When enemies are down, it's harder to hit them unless you have an attack that will specifically run along the ground, or at least has a rising area of effect up from you. Like, knock that guy down, and a gun flame will usually nick him once. And you can only really hit enemies once while they're on the ground, which will immediately prompt them to get up. Use item twice. That's what we gotta do. So I'll use a Crimson Jacket, because I'm not damaged. This is life, of course, self-explanatory. That's a small vial. Oh, it specifically wants me to use an item. So there you go.
Slash.
Well, I'm still medium rare.
Aw, snoozing like a puppy.
What the? My head's acting up.
I believe that is the a little bit of plot happening.
It's cold.
There's a specific character in the game that I like to use.
How's the seal's condition?
Everything checks out all right.
You will
No.
pretty much know who that is
What are these
right
numbers?
away.
It
Well,
can't-
well, maybe not.
Is the dormant
There are
gear
two
going to
different
serve?
types of characters.
No. The gear is disappearing.
I use one more than the
What
other.
is this?
Hey, we need to report this to Sir Kai.
Yeah, see, there's Kai.
Mission complete.
Yay, I lived! Got a crappy time grade because I was busy running my mouth. But there are two different types of characters that I typically like to use. Just alternating once in a while, one more so than the other. It's not the fox guy. Like you may have guessed on your own. I cannot remember what the hell his name is. It is not that. His name is Izuna. He'll be coming up in the next couple chapters. I'm gonna go ahead and divulge that right away because that it won't be long until you meet Izuna. But thankfully I was able to get through that with relative ease. You don't really ever get attacked in this first mission. But those are the essentials for your commander character in this game. The RTS element they get into later because it's actually the premise of this particular Guilty Gear game. It's a new element they're introducing. It's kind of like Shin Megami Tensei, where all of the games are pretty much like different in some respects. That's kind of what I like about the Guilty Gear games, is that everybody is their own little universe, and you have to figure out what kind of style you personally like, and the feel of each character. Nobody really has terribly similar elements. They all have a base that they follow, a format as far as their styles go and everything, and then they have completely different techniques that just go off in their own little tangent. And that's kind of what I've liked about the Guilty Gear universe. Aside from that, they are typically challenging. But this was a pretty unique game in that it combined all of those elements with like some decent real-time strategy elements. It took me a very long time. I'm still not where I'd like to be. It took me a very long time to figure out the ins and outs of this game and actually make any headway. It literally took me 3 months to actually win a match in exhibition mode. I don't think I want to subject you good beasts to exhibition mode. It's just brutal, and I will lose most of the time. Campaign mode is nice and smooth. It'll tell you how things go, step by step, and it's somewhat forgiving. The missions do get hard. That's for sure. But you'll see in the coming episodes as I play through the game. Like I said, this was an experiment in the realm of RTS, which I'm not as good at as I would like to be, but eventually all of you avid like Metal Marines and StarCraft players and RTS strategists in general will have a decent sense of basically what goes on in this game, and see if you might like to maybe try it out yourselves. It's not an easy game to find in its physical incarnation. You mostly have to order it from offline. I was lucky enough to actually like find it in the store. $5, people. $5. I don't know when exactly this came out. I think it was like 2006 or 7. I'm not really sure. What is this copyright at? It doesn't say. But it's not a terribly old game. It's just a game that not a lot of people over here could like really get into, I guess. I still don't consider it anywhere near as hard as Guilty Gear Iska. If any of you guys have played that, it's basically the Guilty Gear format. Only instead of fighting on one particular level, you fight on 3 different tiers in your fighting game battlefield, and sometimes you take on 2 to 3 other enemies at once, and you have a turnaround button you can use, and you'll still get like jumped. But anyway, that's another Guilty Gear game. This is part 2. It follows a different format. Guilty Gear 2 Overture is the entire title. And I thank you very much for riding along with me, guys, through this tutorial mission and me yammering on like a sick puppy. But we'll get into more adventures later on, and the story will unfold itself, and you will have an opportunity to judge for yourself whether this is a game you may or may not wish to pursue. In the meantime, I am your host, Akeluus, the Wolf Horse, and I will see you later, hopefully, for another episode of Let's Play Guilty Gear 2 Overture. Until then, signing off. Ciao. Ruff.